Hello, this is the 2022 version of Obi-Wan Kenobi's Jedi Starfighter from Attack of the Clones. This I bought for $30 US, and it comes with 282 pieces. I built it live on my Twitch channel. There are 3 minifigures here. Of course, we'll look at those more closely a little bit later on, but first I want to just quickly take a look at this from some different angles, see what's up with it. Overall, in general, I'm very satisfied with this right from the start. The build experience was pretty straightforward, but it did have quite a few stickers, maybe too many stickers. I can kind of understand why it has a lot of stickers. It needed a lot of detail, but it felt like extra. Fortunately, you don't need all of those to get a decent amount of detail on this. And the shaping, in my opinion, is excellent. The general design approach to this is not too dissimilar to what they've done in the past, especially the most recent one or two of these Delta Ether Sprite builds. It's nice and compact. Definitely doesn't waste size, doesn't waste space. Doesn't feel like it wastes parts either. Feels like a pretty efficient build. You got the cannons on the sides, which are the most recent version of stud shooters. They're pretty effective. You can leave the bolt out of there, and then the handle will stay down low and a little bit more flush. But if you simply pull that off, it's going to look a little bit lacking on the side there. You know, not having any kind of little bulge on the wing for the cannons there. Generally speaking, I just like looking at this because from so many angles, it looks like what I expect to see from this little starfighter. That's the most important thing to me. When I look at it, I see the quote unquote real thing. And it just feels right to me. It even has a good height off the ground. Now, this rear landing skid is not great. The front one is nice, but it stands a good distance off the ground. That just feels appropriate. The only thing there are 2 things that I don't like looking at here. First of all, slightly from the underside. Well, the whole underside is not great looking, but seeing that blue right there, fortunately, you don't see that most of the time. But also, there are these gaps right here between the wing or the side surfaces and the fuselage, especially towards the front. It's just very obvious to me, and I would have expected LEGO to normally fill that up with modified plates with the rail along the side. Cockpit opens forward and holds a single figure in there, as you would expect. Got the headrest behind there. Just a simple console in front, printed piece, but no suggestion of a control stick or anything. Use a relatively new piece that hasn't been used on Star Wars previously because it is so new to fill in this little shape back here, which works pretty well. The engines are simple, but fine. They do their job. Got the little communications array, little radar thing, which of course you can pull off if you don't want to be seeing that, or you just thought you could fold it back more than that, kind of integrate it in, but not really. And then this here, of course, is the turntable for the R4 head. You have to just pull that off as is appropriate to put it into its place, and then you get that look, which is nice, and it's right. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this build. You can retract this if you want. Oh yeah, and also there are 2 clips on the underside to hold on to a lightsaber hilt and also blade, or just 2 separate accessories if you want to keep it together. And yeah, that's that. I think it's pretty nice. It does its job. Obi-Wan there looks pretty good to me. I like the prints on that, and the lightsaber hilt is nice and clean these days. Lightsaber blades are coming out consistently frosted and bubble free. I just really appreciate seeing the same thing continuously rather than having many different iterations that we had for quite some time. The R4 unit there is looking pretty good. No, they did not add print to the back of it. Do not expect to see prints on the backs of all astromechs just because we've gotten them on a couple versions of R2 to date. My head print for that astromech is still wonky. Thankfully, it's fairly flat as viewed from the front, so it's not as obvious that it has a low point. Where is that low point? I think about here, and then the high point is the high point is about here. Low point is back over here. This is that lower ring, and on the right is the first ever Taun We. That's nice. I like how that figure turned out. For a Legoification of it, I think it's a much better idea than the fake leak of a Friends mini doll based one. I personally probably could have gone for longer legs, but I understand that the design decision here was made to put most of the length into the neck and then to use this nicely shaped lower leg piece, for the robes. And the printing on the back there is stellar. Quality is absolutely excellent. That's exactly what I want to see. The headpiece here is all one, including the neck. The neck itself is simply painted. It's not dual molded, but the paint is good. It's solid. It's a good match with that sand blue color. So the quality there is good. The mold, the shape, I think is nice. I just think it looks good personally. And, different people have different thoughts about that. I think it looks good as a minifig version of a Kaminoan. And hopefully they'll do more in the future. Alternate face for Kenobi, of course, and thankfully, alternate headgear piece. So he comes with some hair as well. Probably don't want to go that emo with him. There we go. Something like that. Yep. Happy with all this. There are not many leftover pieces for this set, but check out the sticker sheet though. Oof. Yeah, that's a lot of stickers for such a small thing that goes together so quickly. The price of $30 US for this feels fine to me. It feels good to feel fine about the price of especially a Star Wars set, but these days a Lego set in general. So yeah, I have no issues with that. However, it is 35 euros, so that's not fair. It's also 30 British pounds. It's also not fair. That's less fair, in fact. So in the Eurozone, it seems like it's overpriced, but thankfully many countries, at least, not all, but many countries in the Eurozone do put out discounts very quickly, sometimes on the day of release, sometimes before release, from what I understand. Countless viewers constantly tell me that. So if you can get this at a discount outside of the US, great. If you're inside the US, I think that it's already priced nicely. And just generally, I have very little to complain about here. Happy with it. Way to go. Nice. It feels good to feel good. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.